Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live, talk radio without the static. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com. And now your host, Lynn Cullen.
Whoa, just like that? Am I really on? Wow. Hi, guys. It's a Monday. It's November 15th. And I'm sitting in my family homestead in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and stuck in a bedroom with my dog, who, when I just started talking to you, jumped because he can't figure out who the hell it is I'm talking to. And he's decided that I should play. Uh-oh. So I'm a little whatever. I'm not where I usually am. And a little discombobulated as a result. He's gone and gotten a bone and is now right next to me. So if you hear gnawing sounds, that's what that is. It's always hard for me to start up again after I've been off for a while. I realize that it's an odd thing to have, I don't know, have this job where people think you have something to say. And I'm a little less connected to news than I would be if I were back home. But God knows I've got more than enough connection. And it, as usual, does not put me in a good place. And I just hate to start things out with negatives. Really do. Let me start on a personal note. And it's going to sound like a negative, but I mean it as a celebration. I lost a dear friend last week. As Susan would say, how careless of you. Keep better track of your friends. Charlie Johnson was a dear friend. He and his wife, Pat Jennings, dear friends. Charlie was 95 years old, so he had a good run. And I just wanted you to know that the audience has been reduced by one, because Charlie and Pat listened most mornings until, as they've told me, they couldn't stand it anymore and would turn me off. But I just wanted to note the passing of one of the nicest humans I've had the pleasure of knowing. Bright, funny, fun, and this indomitable spirit. He was plagued by a disease that took his legs out from under him, literally made them useless. And for a lot of people, that'd be it. It didn't deter him one bit. And his wife, Pat, they were intrepid. They still traveled all over the world. Nothing got in his way of enjoying life. A hell of a way to spend 95 years living, really. So I just wanted you to know about this wonderful guy who fought in World War II, buried in the cemetery of the Alleghenies, along with other veterans. Lover of classical music, and it's how he ended up meeting his wife, Pat, who was and is a renowned artist and the keyboardist for decades with the Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra. So I just wanted to say that raise a cup of coffee to Charles Johnson, my friend. good run, and a guy who brought a lot of positivity to the world. It's all anyone can hope to do. Okay, so that is that's I needed to say. Sticking on now more mundane things. God, you guys, geez. It didn't beat the Lions? I'm saying you because I'm sitting here in Green Bay, so now I have a Packer point of view. Are you kidding me? That was the ugliest game in the universe, right? There is no joy in Mudville. So, what do we talk about? I don't have anything good. I find my mom was reading the paper yesterday, and she says, well, it's just one awful thing after another. She said, I can't stand this. And I said, well, don't read it. You know, when you're pushing 100, I don't think you have an obligation anymore. Seriously. My mother has had the misfortune of, as she put it, outliving her appliances. So we are waiting on the stove repair guy and the refrigerator repair guy. I'm not quite sure if they're one and the same. And she was standing in the kitchen the other day with her, you know, the stove not working, the refrigerator leaking, and she said, I didn't expect to live this long. So I said, you outlived your appliances. That is, I said, we'll put that on your tombstone. That's a good one. You outlived your appliances. Oh, okay. I just on one other piece of information that is affecting me. So if I heard that sigh, I just dropped into your ears. One other thing that's affecting me is that my brother, who is I still guess scheduled to come here today, but was coming with his dog, who's my dog's best friend, called last night to say that his dog is missing. And, you know, that's one of those things that and it's still missing. It's been gone all night. Never happened before. Great animal. I barely slept last night thinking of her. Big dog. Likes to run. And took off. And that just, wow. So, say a prayer for the safe return of one overgrown, floppy-eared, beautiful animal. I hope she's still alive. Well, thank you, Barbara, and thank you, Paul. A lot of people sending nice stuff, and I appreciate that. Really do. Okay, we got to get on with the show, don't we? Got to talk about something here. So I'm walking around. You know, it's odd to be back in the town you grew up in, and I left at the age of 18. So the memories that come back to me as I walk around are the memories of a child. And when I was walking the dog last night, I found myself by what had been my school, which is no longer standing. in its place, of course, Progress, a CVS pharmacy. And that little corner that I spent so much of my life on used to have a wonderful old 3-story brick schoolhouse. I went to school there from kindergarten to 8th grade. And then across the street was a little diner. And then across in kitty corner was a wonderful old drugstore with a soda fountain. And all of it's gone. And what's there now? A CVS, a gas station, and again, doesn't feel like progress. But as I walked on the sidewalk, I realized, I thought, geez, think of all the footfalls that you have made on this sidewalk, because it was the sidewalk I walked to and from school to for 8 years. Past the same houses. All those houses are still there. And as I walked past them, I would be able to name some of the people who lived there. But of course, those aren't the people who live there anymore. You know, there's the Cohotuses, all dead. There's the Shiminatos. And it's odd how those names come back when I can't remember much of anything anymore. So one of the things I saw, though, is a number of yards had signs in them against gerrymandering, which did my heart good because it said that those are probably not Trump voters. And a number of houses said no gerrymandering. But I was thinking this morning about it and thinking, this is what Democrats do. This is what we do. We put up signs. Meanwhile, Republicans are gerrymandering. We put up signs. No gerrymandering. It isn't moral. It isn't the just thing to do. It isn't the democratic thing to do. Not nice. Cheating. We put up signs. I'm being told my sound quality has diminished, just so you guys know. I sound like I'm in a tunnel. Is that me? Did I do it? I don't know. Thanks for the warning or information. Nothing I can do about it. But thank you for telling me. That's always good to get feedback. Okay, so I'm feeling like our side, is hopeless. I don't know what it is with us. I just saw something on. I don't know if you're hearing my dog. He's really going to town on this phone, but there's nothing I can do about it. I just saw this on Twitter. Let me just pull it up so I'm properly. Here it is. A poll, who knows, says Republicans hold the largest edge in early midterm voting preferences in 40 years. How is that possible? See, for us, living in our world, how is that possible? Republicans hold the largest edge in 40 years in polling for what 2022 is going to bring. And all it tells me is that We live in a country where a terrifying percentage of our fellow countrymen, I'll stick with the masculine, don't understand that we're in the most threatening situation imaginable for the survival of the experiment that was launched with the founding of the United States of America. A democracy. The gerrymandering distorts democracy. It makes some votes much bigger than other people's votes. And for that matter, our electoral structure, as we come to know, unfortunately, is also weighted to keep us from really having this sense of one man, one vote. Our votes are not equal. Our representation in our government is not equal. And the advantage is always to the Republicans. So for Democrats to win, we have to win. We start handicapped. It's as if, the starting line is a mile behind the Republicans, and we're carrying weights. And that a party that has clearly become unapologetically a white nationalist party is in a position to retake the House of Representatives in less than a year. God knows how many state legislatures and who knows what. I don't know, but I know we're technically in the majority. Every poll shows Americans like the policies that Democrats put forward, but Republicans, this party that tried to overthrow the damn government or remain silent while it happened. This party that refused for the first time in American history to hand over the presidency when they lost. This is the party that is running ahead, is expected to gain more power. What the hell does that say about us? And by us, I mean Democrats. I know we're no good at messaging. We're no good at explaining what we've done. I think, Americans might, even the people who are getting these checks, for their child credits now, do they credit Democrats? No, I don't think so. We don't own the stuff that we end up doing. We just don't. So all those families that have been lifted out of poverty, that have more of a cushion than they've had in a long time, do they say, thank God those Democrats are there? They don't. They don't have a clue. Build back better. How many Americans have a clue what the hell that means? You know what's in any of those bills? I really don't either. And our media don't educate us about it. They treat everything like a horse race. I don't know. This is why you didn't want to listen to me today. I really am feeling very, very nervous. Very, very nervous. Good news this morning that Beto O'Rourke is going to take on the vile Governor Abbott of Texas. And it's good. Beto O'Rourke is a good candidate. And if Democrats could possibly get their act together, and gerrymandering doesn't work with that one because it's a statewide election, and matter of getting the vote out. Of course, the voter suppression that the Texan Republicans have done will make it harder, as always. But who knows? That's a campaign I would get behind. And, I was thinking, talk about, people think Democrats are in power. We're not in power. We got a little bit of power, more than we had 4 years ago. Our guys in the White House, we have a fingernail width of power in the Senate, and we're about to lose the House. I don't think there's any doubt about it. If you look at just the Republican legislatures that have finished up their steal the vote, gerrymandering, they have solidified. They're drawing districts that a Democrat cannot win in. Impossible. And it looks like they've already figured how to pick up 4 seats. I think they only need 5, right? Which means, and that's assuming no Democrats lose. Not good. Can you imagine Kevin McCarthy could be the Speaker of the House? Or worse. I don't know what's worse. I don't. You get into degrees of horror here that really aren't worth parsing. And when I said we really don't have that much power, what I was actually thinking about was the Supreme Court. Because one of the things that this court, I call it the Trump court, I don't call it the Roberts court, he's lost control of it because of Trump's ability to put 3 people on. Again, Republicans playing hardball, while Democrats play by the Queensberry rules. So, in 2019, the Trump court, in a gerrymandering case that had been brought before it, said, you know what? This isn't the kind of case that we decide. Gerrymandering? This doesn't belong in federal court. So they said all this gerrymandering stuff has to go back to their state courts. Well, I ask you, in the states that are totally Republican controlled, which are most states, that means gerrymandering will stand. Unless, of course, somehow Democrats get into power and manage to do a little of it. So the Supreme Court not only gutted the Voting Rights Act, but now it has said they won't hear any more gerrymandering cases that argue that the gerrymandering was done purely for partisan reasons. They won't take those cases. Unbelievable. So there's that. And then the loathsome Steve Bannon surrendered himself to the federal authorities today. smiling. I don't know if you saw, he's smiling, happy guy. You know why? He craves attention. Craves attention. And he turned around on the steps and he said something to the effect of, "We're taking down the Biden administration." At least he said Biden administration as if Biden actually had won. Found that interesting. He didn't say we're taking down the Biden usurpation. So, and I see on my little news feed here that a Democratic senator has said, "I've had enough," and is not running. And that's the 195-year-old Senator Leahy. Patrick Leahy, been representing the state of Vermont, ladies and gentlemen, for what, about 95 years? I'm not sure. It's a hell of a long time, that's for sure. And I don't know enough about the political landscape in Vermont to make any assumptions about whether or not that is a seat that we can hold. Not a clue. So, I don't know. Maybe I am going to start looking at property somewhere else. Costa Rica. I'm going to get in touch with Duolingo and learn my Spanish. Maybe. Huh? What do you think? Okay, we got a caller. I'm sorry if I've kept you waiting. Go ahead, please.
Hello.
Oh, Mr. Happy. Hi.
Yeah, hey, doesn't that Bannon look like a guy that you should be hosed off on a fire hose or something?
Yeah, he looks like a homeless person. Yeah, he looks like he is. Yeah, he has not. It looks like he hasn't bathed in a long time.
It's just.
He's disgusting. Yeah, he's a disgusting human being.
He's ugly inside and out.
Yep. That's right. That's right. Is just appalling human. But yeah, I'm in agreement.
Now, this court, isn't there anything Biden could do to add to the court or just throw something out there?
No, well, he can. I mean, he can.
One of the presidents tried to do it one other time. It just
FDR tried for the same reason. Well, it didn't work, and it's not going to work.
Try it again.
All right.
I just something's got to change. I mean, or can we try to impeach some of those people who are in there?
No.
I'm trying.
Sure. But no. Have you noticed how speedy the wheels of if you go to the court?
Kavanaugh, the rapist, we should be able to get rid of him. That's why I call him the rapist.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yep.
Sure.
So.
Big chance. I'll tell you the two I want off. I want Thomas and Alito off. Those are the two I
can't stand this new lady too. I don't like her at all. She's like hides behind
Amy.
Yeah, she's
like a Stepford wife. I know.
Yeah.
God help us. God help us. I don't know either, but it's not looking good.
Yeah,
it's not looking good.
Into a frown.
Because it's just not looking good. If you're paying attention,
And I was doing the Serenity thing, but Serenity now is Kennedy later, so that doesn't work.
Serenity? What the hell is that? That's what you get. That's where
Serenity now and Sanity later. That's what it is.
All right.
See you later.
All right. Bye. Yeah. See you too.
Yep.
Bye. And then, did you see this? Oh, God in heaven. Did you see Kamala Harris was our vice president, right? And she was in France and other places, I guess, mostly France. And here is reporting from, I want to make sure I get it here, reporting from, I think this was the New York Times. Yeah. They were talking about I think it was a press conference she gave. And here is part of the reportage. They went nuts about the fact that she pronounced the word T-H-E, the. Now, you sometimes probably do the same. Like when you want to emphasize, no, I'm talking about the, or you know, here, closer to home, the Ohio State. It's not like we don't ever do that, where you put the becomes a the. And here's reporting. This passes for reporting. The vice president again used the pronunciation for the word the. Some critics have claimed she appeared to adopt a fake French accent when she said the plan during a tour of a research lab on Tuesday. And today at the Paris press conference, she said the topic. Now, you cannot make that up. First of all, if she was adopting a fake French accent, what's fake French about saying the plan? A fake French accent would be what? The plan. I don't know. What kind of crap is this that passes for journalism? You think a vice president who happens to be female and not white might get treated a little more harshly? Hot shots taken at everything from what she wears, her shoes, her pants, her to the way she pronounces the word the. Man, does the media have it in for her. Jeez. And then somebody's been sort of, they're already, like, there was a thing I read about Buttigieg, in comparison to Harris, like trying already to move her out of place so that Buttigieg has a better road to running for president, because they think Harris doesn't have a shot. So this is where we are. The fact is, yeah, a gay married man, Democrats think have a better shot at winning a national election than a Black Asian woman. They might be right. I don't know. But in either case, you know damn well the Republicans will be putting up a lily white heterosexual of either gender in this white, increasingly white supremacist nationalist country. Jesus God. So guys, I'm not in a good place. I don't know what to tell you. I can't, I mean, everywhere I look, it's like my mom said yesterday, oh my God, everything I read is here's one I got just today. This was actually, I was looking at the Trib from Pittsburgh online, and it said, 3 people have been arrested in Poland in connection with an anti-Semitic demonstration last week where far-right participants were shouting, "Death to the Jews." Well, part of me has to admit, I actually laughed. Because I'm thinking, all right, Poland, death to the Jews. Wait a minute. The Jews of Poland were wiped out. How many Jews are there in Poland? 6? And there's demonstrations saying death to the Jews? Like, what are those 6 Jews doing? That would create that level. I throw my hands in the air. I just throw my hands in the air. And on top of that, damn it, who knew Lincoln, Nebraska had a zoo? Lincoln, Nebraska has a zoo. And for some reason, Lincoln, Nebraska has 3 snow leopards in that zoo. This is an endangered species, glorious animals, 3. Been their biggest attraction at that zoo forever. I used a wrong tense. The Lincoln Zoo does not have 3 Siberian tigers anymore. I mean, snow leopards. Snow leopards, what did I say? Snow leopards. Snow leopards. Endangered. You know why? They all just died at the same time. And guess what they died of? COVID. COVID. That's a good one, Roger. Roger wants to know, about the vice president saying the. He says, yeah, but how does she say nuclear? Oh, how did Bush say nuclear? What did he say? I give up. I just, we live in a country with too many stupid, self-interested jerks. This is what we're doomed. And then there's people like me who say things like that, who those jerks just hate. I mean, just hate, understandably, because I'm looking down my nose at them. And Jesus God. All right, where did I see that Brazil has passed the United States in vaccination rate? Brazil. That's what Bolsonaro. Yeah, they've actually. I just can't. Nuclear. That's what he said. Zach's telling me nuclear. And we have another caller. Let's go to the phones. Hello.
Hello. I guess it's me, right?
I guess it's you. I'm hearing it. Yeah.
It's me. Okay. Oh, I'm getting to hear you live, which is rare. And I thought of calling in, and I said, no, my blood pressure will just go up too high.
Yeah.
And the whole conversation, everything that you've talked about, my mind keeps going back just to the distortion by the media. Okay, it's true, this stupid in this country that has just, in my opinion, I've just watched it be heightened and escalated by almost 2 years of pandemic. So you've got people stressed and, stressed out and frightened, and that's where it's getting scary. Okay. Mm-hmm. But the media has just picked up on this, and it is relentless. Every time I look online, all I see is this negativity towards the Dems. The Dems can't do anything right. It's even, Kamala Harris. Right. And then they're like, what's this? Leaks from the West Wing that they're, after her, or they're putting her down, or it's almost like, where is this coming from? And then I saw the newspaper. First, they were bashing Biden for telling people to get boosters before the CDC came out and verified it. Then yesterday I look and they're bashing Biden because he stopped pushing boosters enough. It's like,
there you go.
What?
Yeah.
This is absurd. Nobody can do anything right. So it is so dispiriting, but this is the point. This is what Bannon is gleefully happy about. He's achieved this, right? This is all part of the plan. You just bombard people and just wear them out, right? They know this works.
And
so I said, hey, don't be so dispirited, because you have a voice and we have to call it out. I know. But there are words that I have been using for years, but nobody uses it in the media, okay? It's called gish gallop. You know what that is? It's like at a conversation I just had. So I told several people this weekend that I ran into, it's like, just stop it. This is gish gallop. Like, you want to start talking about how bashing the Biden administration, or they start talking about one point. The next thing you know, they are all over the place. You can't finish a conversation because it's what every one of these people do. They start they're all over the place. You start talking about gerrymandering, and the next thing you know, it's like booster shots. It's like, no, let's talk about the one point, right? You scream loud enough, you confuse people, you just get a tone of voice. Jim Jordan they have perfected the art of this. And I don't know why anybody doesn't say, put the brakes on, put their hand out and say, stop. You are gish galloping. Let me give you the definition of this. Let everyone know what that technique is, right? Why isn't anybody doing this? But you can call them out. We have to call them out.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it is true. The media are so complicit in this because they need constant roiling of the water for people to pay attention. And they hate Biden because he's just boring and doing his job.
That's it. So they're looking for anything.
They want Trump back. They want they want a new outrage every 2 minutes. And so if there's no outrage, they'll create them, even if it's as absurd as opposed to the, or even as, my God, you've got Republican senators screaming about Big Bird as a communist. You can't make up the horror and dysfunction of the other side. And all the media is doing is beating up on Democrats who are trying to do something right. I'm beyond, I don't know.
I know, but I think that's where we have to say, and that's the voice. That's the only thing we can do. Is really keep pointing this out. What is going on? What is at the base of this? And here, I would love to, I don't even know how do you write to Rachel Maddow to give her, somebody needs to do some research. Every time, again, this conversation, people talking about defund the police. I'm like,
oh, God.
Okay, but here's the thing. I've been saying this for a while. I said, I would love somebody to do a research project. Where did that phrase come from? Somebody's got to be able to go on the internet and find, when did you first start seeing these words put together and who was using them? Because I'm telling you, it is not.
No, whoever came up with it flunked the class about messaging.
Yeah, but I'm saying, who came up with it? I'm even suspicious of who came up with it.
Okay.
And then who ran with it?
No, it's possible, yes, but so some right winger came up with it and put it up. But the reality is, no, Democrats are notoriously good at tripping ourselves up.
True, but we're also notorious exactly what you're doing of bashing each other, which is what they don't do. They love it when they hear this. That's why people say, oh, you're always defending the Dems. I'm like, you know what?
No.
We just need to learn their techniques. And their techniques are, they don't turn on each other, right?
Yes, they do. Yeah, they do. Wait a minute.
Rarely.
They turn on each other. There's death threats if a Republican dares to not march in lockstep. They are literally threatened with death.
Which is the one thing I'm thinking is a possible mistake they're making. You know, because a lot of people don't, who did vote for those people. I do know. I had a conversation with somebody who was a lifelong Republican. Well, they aren't anymore. And actually, and in a conversation, my husband and I looked at each other and we just smiled because we heard him say "us," like he's one of us now. Right? But these are people, reasonable people who, did vote for. There are a lot of Republicans out there that, did business people that supported some of these candidates, right, that are being like trashed, who are like, wait a second, that's an honorable person. It's gone too far for some. I don't know how many.
Let me just say, not enough.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for the call.
Okay.
Thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Nice to hear your voice.
Bye.
Thank you. Good call. Thank you. I was saying, Brazil has surpassed us, America, in the number of vaccinations. And get this, Austria, have you noticed this? One of the lowest rates of vaccinations in the EU. Austria has just imposed a lockdown of anyone in the country that is not fully vaccinated. If you have just one vaccination, tough. You are stuck in your house. You can get out to get the second one. That's it. You get found out outside your home and you don't have proper vaccination, you can be fined up to almost $2,000. Okay. Now, I just want to say, can you imagine? This is a country that's very nervous because they've got an uptick going on. And they've only got a vaccination rate of about 65%. Do you know what the U.S. vaccination rate is? We ain't even in the 60s, guys. I think it's 54. Because I think Brazil just got up to 57, and they're ahead of us. And just look at Allegheny County, where I'm assuming many of you are sitting right now. Last month was the deadliest month from COVID in Allegheny County, but for two others. The third deadliest month. We're dying in Allegheny County now, and everybody's acting like this is somehow over. It is more dangerous in Allegheny County now than it has been through most of the pandemic. Now, a country like Austria will say, hey, you got to stay home. We're sick of it. We're sick of you people who are killing your fellow countrymen. Of course, there are some protesting, fine and dandy. Who cares? They're doing it. That's more than a mandate. Can you imagine in this country? Now, Austria has a population that is sort of very comfortable, certainly, historically, with fascism, with goose stepping and white nationalist politics and people following the rules or dying. And yet the Austrians have done this, and they don't have all these white nationalists in the streets going berserk. It's another reason I feel like we're doomed. There's just too much stupid in this country. Too much. Way too much. This is one of the first national lockdowns in the world that is aimed just at the unvaccinated. They got to be home. They cannot be at work. They're done. That's it.
And I'm just saying, that's what other governments have done to try to stop this. We got so much stupid. We got so much stupid that we're doomed. I'm sorry. We're doomed. Oh, yeah, Barbara's reminding. Yeah, that's something I saw, right. Michael Flynn, who at one time, as you know, was our former president's national security advisor. Michael Flynn, general, high up. I mean, this is a representative of our military, our government under a Republican administration, and he has now called forthrightly for there to be only one religion in this country. I know. Yeah, you're right. Good for you. You get no points for guessing which religion. Yeah. Here's what General Flynn said. If we're going to have one nation under God, which we must, we have to have one religion. One nation under God and one religion under God. So, you know, it begs the question, of course, has this idiot, the former national security advisor, former leader of men, who swore to uphold the Constitution, ever read the damn Constitution? I don't think so. These people will destroy everything that they claim to be trying to secure, because as we know, they are patriots. I'm sorry. I'm just laughing so I don't cry. That's what I'm doing. So I drove by Kenosha, me and the dog. There it was, Kenosha. Little town. Can't say I ever turned off the highway and went into it. It's right there between the highway and Lake Michigan. And I did look over that way and think, man alive, what's happening in there? That courthouse, that judge, dear God in heaven. That blubbering little doughboy is going to walk. Oh, slap on the wrist. Oh, yeah, maybe some misdemeanor count. I don't know. Unbelievable. And then you got the other case. Dear God. The killing of Aubrey, blanking on his first name. How many dead black men's names do I still have in my head? And I get mixed up. Ahmad Aubrey. And you actually had, in these times, when we think we're supposedly more aware of the national history of racism, you know, after post George Floyd, more aware of the systemic, critical race theory, systemic nature of it. And you have the defense attorney in the case of this particular dead black man jogging while black, going nuts because Al Sharpton and some other black ministers are sitting in the courtroom. And he says he feels perfectly all right saying in front of the jury, in front of us, we don't want any more black pastors coming in here sitting with the victim's family trying to influence the jury. Intimidating. Well, there you have it. That's why Aubrey's dead, too. Because white men think black men are intimidating just by living. A black pastor sitting in a courtroom is intimidating. Intimidating to the almost all-white jury. God, does my heart go out to whatever black person is sitting on that jury. Jesus. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah. So there's a big issue. I said so. There's a big issue about a nation so knee-deep in guns where I don't know if it's a majority of states in this country where people can walk around with a weapon of war slung across, across their shoulders, pistols peeking out of their pockets, or where they're allowed to make citizens' arrests, stand their ground, everybody's armed. There's an interesting article, maybe I'll take it up tomorrow with Susan, about what and you see in the Rittenhouse trial, and I think also in Arbery, the fact that the idea of self-defense has been so subverted into absurdity by Republican laws like stand your ground. I mean, there are laws that are actually called make my day laws. A country like that is a country in which none of us are safe. None of us. Let's end on a high note. Obituary. Pamela McCordick, age 80. Like a happy lady here. She spent some time in Pittsburgh, by the way. I'm looking at her obituary from the New York Times. She was born in England, Liverpool. She taught English, I think at the University of Pittsburgh, actually, in the 70s. And her husband, a guy named Joseph Traub, headed the computer science department at Carnegie Mellon, which in the 1970s had like a brain trust that was one of the greatest in the world, all working on something we've talked about a lot in the last few weeks, artificial intelligence. So at the time, there were luminaries at CMU like Herbert Simon, Alan Newell, Raj Reddy. These are guys that, believe me, if you're in this line, you know their names. And so as the wife of the guy who headed the computer science department, she was hanging around with these people And here's one of these people talking about her. She was dumped into this saturated milieu of the great and greatest in artificial intelligence. Some of the same people whose papers she had helped us assemble. And she decided to write a history of the field of artificial intelligence. So that is what Pamela McCordick did. She wrote a book called Machines Who Think: Prospects of Artificial Intelligence. It was published in 1979, and she was so blown away by what she was hearing from these guys. So she actually said at one point, this is a dream in urgent need of being realized. And the work toward that end has been a splendid effort. The variety of the forms of artificial intelligence is as wondrous as anything humans have conceived. Its practitioners as lively a group of poets, dreamers, holy men, rascals, and eccentrics as one could hope to find. Not a dullard among them. She was teaching in the English department at CMU. And so she became the person who helped make artificial intelligence something that seemed like the greatest thing that could happen to humanity. And at the end of the obit is this. Ms. McCordick had regrets later in life about not recognizing the possibility that artificial intelligence could be misused. And then they quote her, "How naive I was. I'm especially disappointed with myself. I was a student of the humanities. How could I not have imagined that more intelligence would bring along all the usual misbehavior humans are capable of?" Well, Pamela, a little late there, baby. Because these wondrous holy men, rascals, dreamers, eccentrics, not a dullard in the lot, yeah, geniuses, never asked a question that I would have asked. Where could this possibly lead? What could go wrong? We can, but should we? Harkening back to the Jurassic Park quote that Stack shared with us. And there it was. Only as she neared her end did she realize that she had been cheerleading something that now she feared. Pamela McCordick, age 80, author dedicated to sharing the history of artificial intelligence. Only that history is still being written. And the final chapters will probably not be written by a Homo sapiens. They'll be written by whatever replaces us. There! How's that for a nice high note to end? Obits always see you through. All right, you guys, pray for my dog, my brother's dog, please. Her name's Addie. Just send thoughts up there that Addie, go home, or Addie, you're okay, you'll be well, you'll be found. Please, please. Okay. I'll see you again tomorrow. Susan will join us. Have a good day.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper or its advertisers.